After an amazing swim in the ocean in July, I understood these words spoken by philosopher Herbert McCabe. The Creator makes all things and keeps them in existence from moment to moment, not like a sculptor who makes a statue and leaves it alone, but like a singer who keeps her song in existence at all times. On that July day, I was planning to join a couple to rejoice in their love, a love that not everyone understood because the man had previously been married when he was much younger. The theologian Elizabeth Johnson argues that Earth is a physical place of extravagant dynamism that bodies forth the gracious presence of God. Emerging from the swim, I had no difficulty in believing that in its own way, Earth is a sacrament and a revelation. The Church teaches that simple material things such as bread and wine, water, oil, the sexual union of marriage can be bearers of divine grace. Ronald Rolheiser defines sexuality as a beautiful, good, extremely powerful, sacred energy given to us by God and experienced in every cell of our being as an irrepressible urge to overcome our incompleteness, to move towards unity and consummation with that which is beyond us. In the reading from Genesis, central to our liturgy this weekend, as the first man and woman looked upon one another, they were naked, and they were not ashamed. In the Hebrew scriptures, nakedness was generally a metaphor for both innocence and vulnerability. The nakedness of the first humans suggests that prior to sin, man and woman were able to be naturally vulnerable, that is, transparent and powerless with one another. Grounded in trust and fidelity, the first humans could be confident that the power of sexuality inherent in being vulnerable before one another would not be abused. It is intriguing that this weekend's scriptures reference marriage and divorce in a week in which the fall off in the popularity of church weddings was widely publicized. The Pharisees in Mark's Gospel ask Jesus about his attitude to divorce. Jesus noted that the permission to divorce is not part of the fundamental intention of the law, but an accommodation to the hardness of the human heart. Moses accepted that divorce was a fact of life and then regulated it to protect the woman's right. In a fascinating documentary about the businessman Ben Dunn during the week, he boldly asserted that he was against divorce, while acknowledging that his wife had several grounds for divorcing him. The UK rabbi Jonathan Sacks argued a wedding ceremony is more than a formality, more than a piece of paper. The prophets saw marriage as the single most compelling metaphor for the relationship between God and us, because it involves commitment, a mutual pledge of openness and trust, a promise that neither will walk away in difficult times. From that covenant of loyalty and love, new life comes into the world. At a time when the popularity of New Age wedding ceremonies abound, it is good to remember Richard Galliardi's view that an authentic spirituality flourishes best when it draws from the resources of a larger religious tradition. First, a religious tradition offers us a language of grace by which we can name the experience of both God's call and our response. Second, each religious tradition offers us foundational stories, rituals, and doctrines that help give substance and shape to the spiritual life. Third, the stories, rituals, and doctrines of a particular tradition can serve as a vital corrective to the human tendency to fashion a spirituality that merely confirms our more superficial wants and desires. Yet, at times, institutional churches display a hardness of heart to couples like my friends and make it hard for them to marry in church. This seems short-sighted because, as Sachs argues, marriage was and is the single greatest source of beauty in ordinary lives, moral beauty, a song scored for two voices in complex harmony. Amen.